Okay, we're gonna call this select board meeting on February 9th, 2026 to order, and it is 5:30 p.m. We'll start by doing the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have any items to add or delete? Anybody?
Nope.
Nothing? No? Okay. And then we'll go to administrative matters. I am going to move to approve the signing of the orders for 2/25/26 for the amount of $27,042.63, and payroll for 2/3/26. The gross amount being $15,771.01, and a net of $11,384.91.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And then I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for 1/22/26 and 1/26/26. I did go through those myself, but I won't get a chance to.
Yeah. Yep, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then announcements. Sarah?
The only announcement is that town meeting is scheduled for March 2nd, 2026 at the VTRANS Building at 61 Valley View at 6 p.m. with the polls being open on March 3rd, 2026 at the town office from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Okay, perfect. We look forward to seeing everybody there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We'll squeeze it in right now, I guess. It's kind of, or we could do it for public comment, but I guess let's go ahead with an announcement here on this one. We're gonna, our new constable and emergency management director is here. His name is Mark Fiore. Mark, you want to stand up?
Perfect. Nice to meet you, Fred. Good morning. Nice to meet you.
Mark will be a wonderful new addition to the town, and we're looking forward to having him here working alongside us.
Looking forward to being here.
Great.
Welcome, Mark.
Thank you.
Okay. I guess we don't have any other announcements, so we'll move forward to public comments. Justin Lindholm has a public comment.
Yes, I see on the agenda here, we're going to be talking about moving the John Vincent Historic Marker. We had talked about this a couple of years ago. The state of Vermont does not like markers moved from the position that is being described. And it says, this has been requested by the Mendon Historical Society, and the Mendon Historical Society. I have not heard this brought up, so I don't know who must be just a few of them, decided this marker should be moved. The marker actually says on the top, near this location with John Vincent. You'll have to wipe that off if you're going to move it down here, because he lived up there and died up there by the Turnpike Road. He was a Native American. This is the only Native American monument in the entire state of Vermont for Revolutionary War soldier. He was made captain by George Washington. To move that monument for convenience, it's actually quite convenient compared to most of these Vermont monuments. To move it for convenience is like, we move the Native Americans for convenience out west, and we're going to move this to the west too. I mean, that's amazing. For our convenience, we will take it out of where he was and move it down here. Why don't we just build another monument down here, leave that one there, then we'll really get the name out there. That's what we actually should do. That makes perfect sense. given enough one day here.
Okay, who are we speaking with?
So I don't know, when we get to that point in the agenda, Sarah will tell us more about it.
Okay,
Yeah, and actually Fred will tell us more about it.
okay, perfect. Okay, Justin, thank you for the comment. Any other public comments? Brian Gates.
I have a public comment. Actually, it's a question. Seth, how did you remove a permit? How'd you remove that first permit, 2025-17? Are you a zoning administrator?
Brian, we're here to talk about public comments.
Just cut me off. Another 2 minutes, I'll start it again. You started again?
Got me.
Yeah, I did get you. I'm gonna get you real good, because you didn't pay for the permit that you got. And you had no right, and nobody has the right to let you remove a permit once it's appealed. It's state law. Once it's appealed, the board shall hear it. You don't get to take it away once it's appealed. We know why you took it away, because it was blatant fraud. You didn't pay for it. It says on the appeal that you paid for it that day, but there's no payment, is there, Seth? Correct? You pulled back your permit, correct? I'll let you talk. I won't call my 2 minutes back, but you should answer. You're gonna answer to somebody. You should answer to everyone in town how you got a free permit and why you took it back. The board didn't hear it because it was fraud. You're a liar or a thief, and I don't want you touching the money in this town. Or Megan either, because that was her husband that gave away the permit. That was criminal. Those were criminal acts. You shouldn't be allowed to touch any of our money here in town. That's all.
Thank you, Brian. Any other public comments?
Yes, we have Carol that's raised her hand.
Carol Gates. Okay, Carol Gates, go ahead. Carol.
So in regards to the permit, I mean, not the permit, the notice of violation sent to our property after accusing the select board and the zoning administrator from conspiring to commit fraud. I still have not heard back from the zoning administrator, Megan, your husband, that the town pays. And I need a response from that notice of violation, Mr. Bridge and Miss Smith and Ms. Buxton. I require an answer from the zoning administrator with my correspondence from him. Oh, please talk, Megan. I really want to hear what you have to say about this. Yeah. And, oh, thank you for not setting a timer for Mr. Lindholm, because that means I am going to go on as long as I well please. I request.
He was out of order. You let him go for more than 2 minutes.
Yes, you did not set a timer. You did not require a time for Mr. Lindholm. Therefore, you cannot require a time for me.
You want me to leave?
Who is going to answer our questions? The town attorney has not responded to the notice of violation from the town, has not responded to me to the appeal of the notice of violation from the town, and I am requesting a meeting with Mr. Bloomer if the town has still hired him as an attorney. And I demand it, Buxton.
Okay. It looks like Carol has muted herself again, so she's done.
Okay. Moving.
So,
Excuse me,
Sarah?
hold on, I have a problem here. Mr. Gates is raising his voice outside, disputing some issues here, but it's disrupting our meeting.
He's disputing that with the constable, a law enforcement officer in the town of Mendon. He should be able to do.
Carol, you are out of order.
Okay, so I just want to make sure this is why in here.
Shall we recess briefly? while
Let's,
you
can
go?
we recess briefly?
You're making a motion to recess at 5:40.
Yes.
We'll keep the record going. I'll just give Seth a chance to
Do you want to
go.
second that?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
hi.
Excuse me. Sure, I'm sorry, but we can't. There's too much conversation going on here. It's disrupting the meeting. So we're gonna have to ask you to either be quiet and watch the meeting or be removed, please? Thank you. Okay. It's quiet now, so
All right.
we can.
I'll move to go back into session.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
All right, so moving forward, well, first of all, there's no other public comment, correct? I was kind of.
Nope.
Okay. Let's move on to business. The Barstow Unified Union District School Board. Sarah,
So-
for me?
It doesn't look like,
Greg
Debbie
is on.
Sennheiser. Okay, is Greg on?
And Debbie Sennheiser will be able to, well, go ahead, Greg.
So Greg Smith, as one of the Barstow School Board members, is present on the phone, and Debbie Sennheiser is en route to the town office. She was following the agenda posting at 6 o'clock to plan her arrival shortly before that. So I know she's on her way. She's communicated with me that she's en route.
So Greg, do you want to start without her, or do you want to wait for Debbie?
We can move this.
It would probably be better if, because I know she'd like to, as the chair of the Barstow Board, to speak. And so if there's the opportunity to delay till she gets there, that would be great.
With consensus of the select board, you can move agenda items around and you can go to the next item on the agenda until Debbie arrives.
Okay. Do we need to move for that, Sarah? Or?
Necessarily need a motion, but I just want to make sure that everybody's in agreement. So Seth, you are, Sarah,
Objection.
Megan.
perfect.
Well, you can just say absent objection, we can move to the next item.
Okay, yep, absent objection, and we'll move to the next item. We'll come back to that.
Sounds good.
All right. So Route 4 updates.
So this is the agenda item that Fred had requested to be put on the agenda.
Fred Bagley?
I'll be as quick as I can. A couple of things on Route 4. This summer, we believe the Appalachian Trail crossing is going to get relocated. As you know, it didn't get done last summer. The two trail where crosses Route 4 are diagonal, they don't meet. So Green Mountain Club is going to do the woods realignment of the trail sometime this summer. That's going to allow VTRANS to put better signage up at that crossing, because right now the signage says, hey, there's a trail crossing somewhere ahead in the next 200 yards. There's not one of those arrows, pedestrian crossing right here, because people are going all over the place trying to find the trail on the other side of the road. So that's going to happen 99.9% this summer. VTRANS would do the signage relocation after the trail's been put in. And then the third part of what they would like to do up there for safety purposes is a lot of people park their cars, go right out onto the shoulder of the road and walk down to the trail crossing instead of following the signage to the trail crossing and then crossing at a right angle to Route 4. And so they're looking to redesign the border between the parking area and the highway signage, maybe some sort of physical barriers to direct people through the woods and then cross the road. So Mendon's role comes in that it's a public safety for everybody. But if there's an ambulance call for up there, I think we get the bill as a town. So we have a little, stake in the game in addition to the safety issue. And the Green Mountain Club is hoping to get some help from the town, or maybe VTRANS' boulders, because they would love to line that edge of the parking area with a physical barrier of sizable boulders, maybe some plantings and better signage to keep people. If you go up there in the summer, you can see a curb path right out to people walk right out to the shoulder and then walk alongside the road. It's pretty chaotic. So
I think we've run out of boulders in this town, but I could be just.
yeah. So anyway, so come spring, when they get closer, I figure Seth knows every boulder.
I can tell you these boulders.
Somewhere we can maybe help them find boulders or whatever when
Sure.
the time comes. So that's gonna happen.
Mhm.
The other thing, in terms of Route 4 safety is that, with the help of Rutland Regional Planning, the bus is now going to have a signed bus stop at that parking area, because currently all the literature about, for hikers, crossing Route 4 is if you want to pick up the bus to go down to Rutland, you have to walk up to the Long Trail Inn, where the bus has a designated stop. So the bus is going to add a signed stopping area for people waiting at the Long Trail parking lot,
Great.
rather than making them walk a mile up the hill on the shoulder, to turn around and take the bus into Rutland for supplies.
Yeah.
So with our PC's help, that's, again, part of the safety upgrade to the Long Trail crossing. And the other, parenthetically on that, I was told that the bus is looking for a Mendon representative to be on their board. We're either allowed to have one or whatever, I haven't had one for a while, and they'd love to have a Mendon representative on that.
Megan, did you catch that?
Yeah, yeah.
That he said that, so I don't know if that's something you want to think about as chair.
Yep.
He said he wasn't volunteering.
Yeah, so I don't know anything more about it than that. I don't know
Okay.
how long it's long. I don't know if there's ever been a Mendon representative. I think it's kind of like a Mendon representative to the solid waste district, et cetera, et cetera. But I was told they'd love to have a board member. The next thing that we're just wondering is what the status of the radar installations are, whether they've been purchased, whether there's a schedule to install those radar speed feedback devices that we talked about. And the final thing going into the spring, as you all know, the state highway fund is his balance has declined. That may affect when Route 4 gets re-engineered and repaved. As we know what the schedule was, but who knows what kind of funding is going to be available to stay on track to do that or not. But I'm hoping that the select board will pretty soon, maybe as early as this spring, start studying the recommendations of the traffic study that we did that led to the speed reduction and so forth, that big complex study that we got with an AOT grant, and start looking at some of their recommendations relative to engineering. Because they had a lot of recommendations on intersection redesign, on private access redesign, narrowing, widening, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm kind of hoping that as we think about the future and knowing how long it takes to get these projects actually designed and done, if the select board would put it in their mix somewhere to start working with the road commissioner, whoever is the select board person who oversees roads, and start looking at those problematic intersections that the consultants have identified should be fixed by AOT, and between the consultant's report and maybe the town's input, maybe AOT will, VTRANS will actually do it when they come around to do their re-engineering, which is 2 years out, but you can never start too early with getting your requests in. So
What year is that, Fred?
Well, currently, the engineering is supposed to be done in the summer of 28, and the paving in the summer of 29. That's their schedule as of today. Who knows what the budget's going to allow or how they're going to rethink that. But I just think it would be prudent for the town to start reaching out. Here's where we think our consultants were right. Here's where we think, based on our road commissioner and our own drive up and down the road 1,000 times, hoping you'll take these factors into consideration when you do your engineering formally 2 years from now. Seems like a long way out, but I'm just hoping some sort of small group can be pulled together and start looking at those engineering.
All righty.
Good thought.
Yeah, so that's the Route update.
The request I think that I heard was, from Fred, was any rate feedback on the purchase or status of the radar. I don't know if Sarah has any of that information or.
Yeah, so the 2 units that are intended to go onto Route 4, we have in our possession. So it is completing the 1111 permit with the state of Vermont for installation and determining the locations of where they're going to be installed. And then we draft an RFP and go out to bid with those.
So the installation is going to be done commercially, not by the town crew?
Correct.
For those signs, yes. With it being on Route 4, we need a lot of flaggers, and the installation of those signs are more complicated than the scope of work for the municipal signs that are going on Meadow Lake Drive and Town Line Road.
Are these solar powered, or are they going to be close to electricity source?
I believe, you know what? I don't remember. So I'll have to get back to you on that, Fred.
It's underway.
Great, yeah.
It is.
And we've already bought that. That's not in the budget for this year. That was last year's budget.
Yep.
Great.
Those are all
Okay.
here.
Okay. And then we'll take your under advisement, the report and the fact that should keep going on that.
Yeah. It's good. Good.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I guess we could go ahead with the John Vincent Historic Marker. Fred, that's you again, right?
Yeah, so this, Justin's already brought it up, and the Historical Society has been interested in relocating John Vincent Marker to the down to where the kiosk and where the veterans thing, in some way of recognizing Mendon's only Revolutionary War veteran at the time that we celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration with our 4th of July ceremonial planning. So a request was made from the Historical Society to the State Division of Historic Preservation as to how and whether this could happen. The response we got, the original installation was done in 2004. It was sponsored by a DAR chapter out of Madison County, not Rutland. It was some folks up in Madison County who did the work on that. And it required local endorsements. So it was endorsed by the Mendon Historical Society in 2004 as worthy of being recognized. And it was endorsed by Mendon on the application back then and listed as the owner of the Vermont Inn at the time. Okay. It wasn't endorsed on the application that the state sent a copy of it to us. It was not endorsed by the town per se. It's in state right of way. It just had to have a sponsor, and it was sponsored by a group out of Cornwall or someplace there. The state doesn't like to move markers, but we've been told they move markers all the time for a variety of reasons. They get damaged, road construction, turns out they were put in the wrong place, so that there is a process by which roadside historic markers can be relocated.
Fred, could you explain again, you're coming in and out. Could you explain again why they want to move it?
We think that that Mendon's only Revolutionary War veteran should be recognized where all the other veterans are going to be recognized at the new plaque that's going to be installed on the 4th of July. So if you'll excuse my limited shopping skills, it might look something like that. So there is a process where it can be moved. it would be, if it were relocated down here so that people can associate our only Revolutionary War veteran with the veterans plaque, which is being installed, it would be red. Right now, 7 months a year, you can't get at it because of snow. I walked over to the marker back in late August through the grass to read it, to remind myself that Justin reminded us what's on the marker. When I got back in my car, I had to brush 3 ticks off my leg. So I'm guessing that it's not read much, if it ever, in its current location. Whereas if it were located and added to the substance of what's going in at the other end of the town property, it would be.
Does the state have a map, a GPS map where all the historical markers are?
They do.
So if we moved it up there, people interested in historic markers, if we moved it up there, the GPS would take them up clearly to the.
Yeah, so if the state approved it, and we respect Justin's concern, if the state approved its relocation, if the Division of Historic Preservation approved its relocation, and if the town allowed it to be installed on town property, then the state map would be instantly updated, both graphically and longitude, latitude wise. Just like the Rifford one across the street is on their state park, on their state map.
So, well, forgive me for I still haven't got on the understanding of why they want to move it. There's many reasons why they move them, but what's the particular reason for moving this particular one?
He's our only Revolutionary War veteran. Nobody knows it because you can't get at the sign. And if it were part of our veterans memorial down here, then we think it'd be a suitable recognition on the 250th anniversary
Okay.
to do it.
Now, Justin made kind of a good point. I mean, would it be less work to actually just create another plaque or memorial down here, so that one stays where it is? It would stay on the GPS, so we wouldn't have any problems with that.
Yeah,
And then we'd still be able to relocate it here where people could get to it easier.
that would be feasible. It's a cost that the Historical Society doesn't have the money to do it this time.
Okay.
The cost of relocating the one up the hill, which is in some parts, it's my understanding, Justin, correct me, it is where it is because there used to be a tavern somewhere up there between Cream Hill Road and where Old Turnpike takes off. There was a tavern up there, and that's where this gentleman spent his final days. He lived and spent his final days. He's buried up in Saunders Cemetery off Wheelerville. But so somewhere and the wording is deliberately a little vague, appropriately vague. It says near this spot because the tavern's long gone. But it was something, of course, Route 4 didn't exist back then. The way to get east was over Old Turnpike. So somewhere up in there was a public house. And he spent his final years there, which is why the sign is appropriately vague near this spot. It doesn't say Cream Hill Road, it doesn't say Old Turnpike Road, it's near this spot. I think it's for location. So we just
would it be all right if we could table this and I could talk to the Commissioner of Historic Preservation about it?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah, sure.
I will call her and talk to her about it. And then in the next meeting, we'll put it back on the agenda, okay?
And the expense of relocating would be pulling it out of the ground, and if you damage the post in the process, they have extra posts to put in.
I just want her opinion on us moving it.
Sure.
The commissioner. I think we owe her that. And I know her, I worked with her, I will give her a call.
That used to be your boss.
Okay?
Okay.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And comments well taken.
Yeah,
Earlier.
yep, absolutely.
Thank you, Fred.
Yeah.
Put more on the sign. There's a lot more to this guy. Like you give them a captain's.
More recognition.
Or Washington or something.
Mhm.
So, little things like that should be added.
Yeah.
And leave that one over there, and then he'll get double weight.
Okay. What's it?
Do I see Debbie in the room?
I'm here.
Debbie's here.
Okay. I think it would be great if we let them go ahead, just so we don't take up their time.
Okay, well, go back to the Barstow Union District School Board and Greg Smith and Debbie Singheiser.
We've got someone else there. And
I also wanted to point out that Renee Sanchez is also on the computer, which
Okay.
is the superintendent.
Very good, Ruth. The floor is yours. Go ahead, Ruth.
So these annual reports seem to have gone to South America. No, I'm just joking. I don't know where they went, but they should be arriving in your mailboxes soon. So I brought you hard copies. I saw one out in the hall in the entryway when I came in, which is great. But that's what every registered voter in Chittenden and Mendon will be receiving.
Okay.
It's the annual report, which is a report of, you guys got the hot copies.
Did the ink go come off in her hands?
Yeah. Be careful, wear gloves, right? Yeah, so hopefully these will show up in people's boxes sometime this week. So you've seen our annual reports before. It's basically a report out of the past year. There's letters from the superintendent, from the chair of the Rutland Northeast Supervisory Union Board. There's a letter in there from our board, the Barstow Unified Union School District Board. As well as budget information for fiscal year 27. It's hard to believe it doesn't quite roll off the tongue yet, but there's information about the budget as well as a letter from the principal with some good descriptions about what's been going on inside the school building. And I did want to point your attention to the second page, or just inside the front cover, which has information about the annual district meeting, which we will be holding at the school next Tuesday, not next Tuesday, 2 weeks, February 24th at 6:30 p.m. There is a virtual option to participate. If you do attend virtually, you're not permitted to vote. But those in the room, again, registered voters can vote. So we go through all of the articles on our warning, except for 2, which go to Australian ballot, as you know, the next day. Yeah, not the next day, the next week. And that is the school board directors elections as well as the budget vote.
Does this have the warning in it also?
It does not, but
Okay.
if you go to the website and you go to the budget, you can use the QR code that's there,
Okay.
or just go to our website. There's a whole page on budgets, and you'll see it there.
Okay.
Yep. So if anybody would like to be our treasurer or board district secretary, those are 2 that we elect from the floor. So we're always open to nominations and people. Sarah Tully has been our treasurer for a number of years, but she may be tired of that role and the rest of us. So I don't need to look for competition, Sarah, but.
It's okay. I would share.
And then Jacob Hausner, who's in Chittenden, Baird Farm. He's been our secretary for the last several years at least, and I'm sure he'd be happy to give up that role to anybody who wants to do that. So I didn't want to spend time presenting anything because we will be doing a full budget presentation and a state of the district address on February 24th. And we'll be working on that presentation at our next regular board meeting, which is next Monday. It's a holiday, I realize, but we'll still be meeting at Barstow at our regular time and talking about that presentation. So we're here really just to say we're always happy to answer questions. We are out and about in the community quite a bit. We are trying to go where voters are instead of having events. Like the annual district meeting is pretty much the only event we're purposely holding. But what we're trying to do in terms of meeting with voters and answering questions is not only through mailing out this annual report, but at 2 nights a week at the Chittenden Public Library, Mondays and Wednesdays, there's going to be, like tonight, there's a Barstow School Board member there to meet with patrons that come in. There's also a colleague of ours, Greg's and mine, is at the Chittenden Selectboard Meeting tonight, talking to their select board. Renee and I were at the Chittenden transfer station Saturday morning at -3 temperatures, and we met with a lot of great Chittenden residents. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a transfer station because we would definitely be there too. So we're just trying to be out and about and meeting as much as we can to answer questions that voters may have ahead of the vote.
And then if you have any suggestions as to maybe other places that we could, set up shop to be able to meet with the community, we really appreciate that as well.
Yeah.
So, so as, a public official, people will also come to us. I'm not there, so I'm not getting that hard copy of what you passed out. The final numbers, what would people say, how much are our property taxes going up? I mean, that's a question I get everywhere I go. I know we're level funding the town budget. We have no increase in the town budget. So how do I respond to people? Is it 12%? Is it 14%? What is it?
So I would definitely refer them to the website and to the annual report. I did send these electronically, electronically to Jesse and Alyssa over at Chittenden and asked them to put it on your website, on the Mendon Town website, so people can have access to it, because that information is all in here. So we don't expect you to become experts overnight on the school district budget. So I always say, go to where we have information, all, in this annual report. But Megan, I don't know if you have not seen this yet, the report. No. Okay. So to start with the question of your, to answer your question about how much our taxes changing, it's all an estimate, as you know, because we don't have the final yield rate at this point. That's set by the legislature in May. So what we have is an estimate, our best guesstimate, if you will. And we have both the rates as well as the before and after CLA, that common level of appraisal. So if you go in the annual report to page.
So when you guys are when you're at the dump and you're meeting residents.
Yeah.
And they're saying, I'm sure they're asking you the same thing that people ask me when I am anywhere. How are we answering that?
The question of
Megan, I'm going to chime in here just for a minute if I can.
Yeah.
I mean, just the information that's in that annual report, certainly people can go look at that. The presentation that the board received in January and the budget that the board approved, the spending goes up by approximately 5% over the prior year's budget. And the current calculation on Mendon's tax rate with the CLA based on the information the state put out either in December or January has our tax rate going up almost exactly 12% based on the school. And so one thing I have learned and heard just through reading, news stories, I think the only way that goes down is if the state decides to kick in, X million dollars, like last year when they kicked in $100 and something million to help.
When would we find out if they were doing that?
My understanding is that won't be known until after the town meetings. And
Okay.
so I don't think there will be an ability for anybody to estimate anything more accurately than we've done. But if that became available to us, I'm sure we'd try.
Okay.
And I'll stop there. I just wanted to throw it back to Debbie.
So another question you may ask is how much is the budget going up this year? And so the Barstow, the board approved budget is increasing by 6.23%. And that's an increase per pupil. That long-term weighted average daily membership per pupil is going up 4.05%.
Okay.
So those are the key numbers to focus on, is how much is the budget increasing by, how much is the per pupil cost going up, because that's what people will see on their budget, on the ballots. That's what the article will say.
Okay.
And effectively behind the numbers, we, as opposed to a level funding, it was level services up until our last board meeting with with Barstow. At the end, it was recommended to us that we add a percentage of a preschool teacher and a preschool para, because right now the Barstow pre-K program meets 3 days a week, and it's combined 3-year-old and 4-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
By adding this percentage of a teacher to make the teacher full-time and make the para full-time, we can now have a day exclusively for 4-year-olds and a day exclusively for 3-year-olds. So the board felt like that was a good add, and while it did add more to the budget, that ended up causing the increase. The other issue that has added, I guess, some money to the budget was that the Barstow has a higher percentage in the assessments from central office than Otter Valley this year, because Otter Valley lost a good amount of students while Barstow actually increased in students. So it went from 85% of the assessments for Otter Valley and 15% of the assessments for Barstow to 83.5% and 16.5%. And at central office, we cut positions as well. So there was no actual increase. There was actually decreases of FTEs at central office this year as well. So wanting to make sure that we covered that. And so had Otter Valley maintained the number of students that it had before in relation to Barstow, there would have been a smaller increase of budget increase for Barstow, but unfortunately that did not happen.
That makes sense. Okay.
And it's up, it's up nonetheless. I mean, the whole, the various factors that go into it and the highly complicated math formula that the state has made and used for this still leaves us, wondering how did we grow our expenses by a single-digit number percent-wise and end up with a double-digit tax rate increase, that's currently projected. And it's hard. I will say I personally hope something flows through with the Act 73, just because there are a number of factors in there to let's say, address that. But I think for the sake of what you asked, Megan, of when people ask, two things. Tell them we have the spot on the town website right now, right on the home page, for looking at the information that the supervisory union has prepared for the board and that the board has approved. And for them to look at that and come to terms with it if they need, and then also to reach out to one of the Barstow board members and ask them if they can help answer questions about why things are where they are, and help them to understand what they'd be what their vote would do, and are they in support or are they not in support? Those are the things that would be helpful for the board members to understand in advance of any meetings and voting.
Good.
So thank you, Renee, for explaining the SU assessments, because that certainly jumped out at me. It's too bad that we have to pay for lost population in the other part of the SU, but so be it. The other big number is about 230,000 in combined salary and benefit, which looks like a 10%, maybe a 10% increase. Was there a contract renegotiation or something like that this year? Was that part of why the salaries and benefits jumped so much?
So yes, so a couple things. So both contracts that we have with our education support professionals as well as our teachers or certificated employees, those were both negotiated this year and approved. And so they would have been, so they were retro, so they would have been, this year was the first year, but we budgeted for that. So next year we're budgeting in advance for that. So yes, there is going to be an increase. So fortunate, and the additional thing is that the healthcare, while it's not going up double digits, is still going up 7 or 8%. And so it's still a significant portion for the people who are utilizing the insurance within our district.
And what's the split? Is it 80-20 or are we 90-10?
It's 80-20.
80-20, okay, great, thank you.
How long is the new contract for?
For the teachers, this would be the second, next year would be the second year of a 3-year contract. And then for the educational support professionals, it's this year and next year. And then we'll have to negotiate again next year.
Okay.
Very good. You guys are wrestling with a lot. It is not an easy time to be on a school board. So thank you.
Yeah.
And worth it. Yeah. And in education.
Okay.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
Thank
Renee.
you, Renee.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Debbie.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Yeah.
So I'm glad
Thank
we
you.
were the 24th. I had.
Yeah, come to
Yeah.
the meeting on the 24th, and please spread the word, because sometimes you only get 10 people,
Yeah.
and that's where a lot of the good information is shared. If people don't want to read about it online, and they can definitely attend the meeting, we like that.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for your
Yeah,
time
thanks for coming
and your
out.
support.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, moving forward, let's talk about the Mendon website updates. Sarah, do you have something for that on us or for us?
I'm gonna let Megan. do
Yeah,
that.
I do. So Jesse had 3 meetings and she sent me all 3 presentations, and I have gone through 2 of them, and I don't have the third. I haven't finished the third one. So we will bring a recommendation to the next select board meeting. It's one of the presentations. That's all they do is municipal websites, and they do several in Vermont. And it's amazing what they can do and what we'd be able to do to access. Those of us that have access to the website could easily update, easily do calendars, notifications. It's really so interesting to see what these companies are doing. So I'm going to meet with Jesse after I review them, and we will come to you guys with a recommendation and get going on it right away, because it is going to benefit our town so much to get one of these websites up, and it's not going to take long to do it. So she put a lot of time into getting these, and so I'm doing my best to plug through them.
Okay.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. And you're liking what you see.
Huh?
You're liking what you see. Or at
Yeah,
least
they're all 3 excellent. And, I think I'm not looking at their pricing structure. I'm looking at what they're going to offer us.
Yeah.
And, then I'll look at the pricing structure to make a recommendation. But I want to keep money out of it and just see what the possibilities are for our town.
I totally agree. I think for a town of our size, the more that we can help citizens access government remotely, that's where everything is going, and it's an access issue, and I'm glad, I like that you're doing that. Thank you.
Yeah, and with the amount of people that signed up for Text My Gov, we know people are interested in what we're doing. We know people want to engage, but our website is just not the place for that to happen right now. And I would just love to have it be more accessible to our citizens. So I wish I would have had time to get through it. I didn't, and so I will.
Fair enough.
Thanks.
Thank you, Megan. All right, and then we'll speak about town meeting and the town report.
So just an update on the town report. Jesse has the mailer that went to the printer last Friday. So
Yeah.
similar to the information that the school is sending out for their meeting, we will have the budget and the warning and the history of how we ended last year. That will be in the mail sometime probably this week. It does sound like the mail is a little delayed in receiving, but that will also be posted on our website when we.
And I want to just say that Sarah and they had one page to put a lot of information in. And Sarah and Jesse worked so hard to really get it compressed and get it all in there. And we kicked it back and forth several times. And I had some wishes that I didn't think they'd be able to accommodate, but they did. And so thank you, Sarah and Jesse, for that.
Absolutely.
Great job.
So I don't really have an update on town meeting, just in case you guys had any feedback. In the next couple weeks, we'll be working on the presentation, just to go over a highlight of that at the next meeting, because that'll be 1 week prior to the town meeting. So we're all set as far as the town meeting at the VTRANS Building with access, and it'll be similar as last year. We may have some volunteers doing a bake sale. Probably not at town meeting, but maybe at the polls the next day. So we'll announce that too, in case it's baked goods or dinner.
So with the presentation, Terry had asked me if we foresaw a role for her with the zoning piece, and what I said was I would talk about it with you, but the presentation is going to be about the town budget and the town report, and then if there's however you envision it, what I thought we would have is I might have a 30-second kind of overview. Here's what we did, and point people to the website for further information, the actual regs. And then she's not going to be there anyway, but she said she'd be available online if there were questions. And I said I thought that would be fine. That if there were questions that, the select board couldn't answer, that we have plenty of planning commission members and the planning commission chair, as could weigh in online. So does that sound like the right answer? Did you want more? Did you want less?
Are you talking to me or Sarah?
Either of you, yeah.
I mean, the residents have not shown a lot of interest in this issue. We've had public hearings. You guys have worked so hard on this. The fact that they don't show up makes me assume they just have confidence in the decisions that you all are making as an organization. And, I think we'll make questions available at town meeting, but it's the same, I just feel like, I feel like you'll be able to answer the questions. Fred will be in the audience, I'm sure. Greg will be in the audience. So I think, Terry, if Terry's out of town, I don't think she needs to, dial in.
Sarah, do you think it's helpful to have the information on the report from the Planning Commission, which just has that summary of changes that you kind of recapped at the public hearing, The biggest question is what's changing, like what is there, just like Ann Singheiser asked at the last meeting, is there an overview of what is changing? And so I would concentrate on the exact information that you put out in the
Yep,
public hearing.
that's exactly what I thought, like the high level overview can be like, these are the big things that are changing. If you want more detail,
This is where you find it. Yeah.
or, whatever it may be, but not going through it. But yeah, just like that. And that has already been prepared. And Terry was going to refine that and send it along just so it's most refreshed.
Well, and just for a reminder for the select board is that it's required for copies of the zoning regulations and that report from the planning commission to be at the polls the next day. So there can't be discussion about it because it's a ballot item. So there will be no discussion about, or no opportunity to discuss it with the voters, but the voters will have the copies to be able to review while they're at the polling place.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I
That's
didn't
all
even-
I wanted to find out.
I didn't
I would
recall
just tell
seeing
parents.
that on the ballot, the sample ballot Jesse showed me. I thought it was just Chris Corsones and Seth Bridge.
And then there's the question underneath it.
Oh, I missed that when I looked at it. So.
Yep. So we vote the officers first and then the zoning regs.
Okay.
And it's just one question to vote it up or vote it down.
Okay. I thought we were doing it at the town meeting. So that's why I said,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So we just want to make sure that we get enough information out there that people, once they go into the polls, have enough of the review, but they do have access to that report from the planning commission.
Okay.
I think, just to clarify, Sarah, we can still discuss it, but we're not voting or changing it that night, like.
Oh, no, at the informational meeting the night before, you can go over all details. When I talk about, we don't need any members of the planning commission to be outside of the polls talking about it because, or
No, we were
they're
just
allowed
talking
to talk
town
about it
meeting.
outside. They're not allowed to talk about it inside the polling place.
Okay.
There's a question here.
Fred Bagley has his hand raised.
Is the ballot question on the zoning regulation changes a positive question? That is, yes, or yes means you are accepting the recommendations of the select board? Is that the way it's phrased?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, shall the town adopt as proposed and approved by the commission and the town?
Yeah, I have it right in front of me, so I'm going to read it. Shall the town approve the adoption of the amended zoning regulations as approved by the town select board on January 26th and the town planning commission on November 20th? And it has the years there too. So a yes vote means that it's approved and a no vote means that it's not approved.
Okay.
So to that end, I do have a couple reports that I'll send you between now and the next meeting just for you to rubber stamp before we print them in the town report. So just be on the lookout for those. And other than that, we'll prepare some presentations before the next meeting just to go over some bullet points.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Sarah. Okay, that brings us to the end of our meeting this evening. As long as nobody else has anything, we're going to adjourn. Make a motion to adjourn this meeting at 6:29 p.m.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.